JKB back with another episode. Today I'm going to check out 5 physical games sent over by Pixel Heart. Thank you so much. We've got Walashia, The Reign of Dracula. This is something that I can't recommend enough. It's like if you took Castlevania, a little bit of Shinobi, and Contra, you would get this game. We've got the Shmup collection, which has a bunch of different games on there. So we're going to be checking that out because I'm a huge fan of shmups. We've got Super Trench Attack. This is a very strange game. I think it's a comedy game. I don't know much about it, so we'll check that out. And of course, we've got 2 more that I'm excited about because I love getting these games in the mail. Yeah, obviously it's exciting getting these games and showing them off to you guys, but there's something cool about them physically that I'm going to show in a second. But we got Finding Teddy 2, I should say, and Guns of Mercy. So we're going to check these out on the show today, but before we jump into that, I want to say a couple of unique things about this company. Number 1 being that it is actually marked on the back with a sticker that's on the case, not the case, but on the insert itself, and it's kind of like one of those shiny old school stickers, and it reflects and it, kind of reminds me of being a kid buying, weird sticker album stuff. But these are like 3,000, 5,000 copy games, and it actually shows you which copy you got. So right here I've got 399 out of 3,000 for Guns of Mercy. But what's really cool is when you open it up, it comes with a certificate of authenticity, and that's in every single one of the games. So that's pretty cool to see in these games because you're able to have the game feel like you own something, like part of history, and it's exciting. It's just overall exciting. So let's check out these 5 games right now. First up is Walashia. Now this is a game that is heavily inspired by Contra and Ninja Gaiden and those classic sort of beat 'em up Capcom games from the arcade. I do really enjoy these games, so I can't recommend this one enough out of the 5 that they sent over. If you're a huge fan of those classic games, like, again, remember going into well, maybe you're not as old as me, but I remember going into the arcades and playing those Capcom beat 'em up games. This really feels like one of those, but it's also a lot like Contra because of the bow and arrow. So if you're into that type of game, I highly recommend this one. And for all these titles, I'm not sure if they're sold out physically. I'm assuming a lot of them are, but I would still go to the website and see what's available. And next up is the Shmup collection with one game I can't pronounce, Zayas? I don't know, Armed 7 and Wolf Flame. Starting with the game I cannot pronounce, you've got the option to go widescreen or regular, so that's a good option to have because some people, oddly enough, like to stretch it out. I do love shoot 'em ups that have the ability to choose your weapons right off the bat. So as you can see, there's a ton of variety in the types of weapons, and you can also switch those out during gameplay. I have to say, out of the 3 games, this is probably the hardest one. As you can see, I'm dying constantly here, but look at how many bullets I'm shooting from my ship. It's ridiculous. Next up, we have Armed 7. I'm a huge fan of this intro. It gets you right into the vibe of the game. You're in a giant mech. You also have the ability in this game to choose your weapon loadout as well. So when you're into these types of games, it's more about the feeling of each of these different weapons. And I'm just a huge fan of being able to actually pick those. I don't like the games where you essentially kind of pick them up as you go. I like the idea of starting the game off, having the options there. Just like you see on screen now, you can go with the main weapon, the sub weapon, and then a charge weapon. And I love those options in the side scrollers. I should also point out that you have a giant mech that you're flying around, so you're a bigger object on screen, because usually when you're doing a side scroller like this, you've got a smaller ship, but you got to be a little bit more careful on how you're maneuvering your vehicle. Lastly, we've got Wolf Flame out of this collection, and this is probably my favorite one out of the 3, and I think it has to do with the way the game is played. You're going from top to bottom versus left to right, and you've got a different point of view. I always felt like playing these in the arcades felt like I was sort of infiltrating an army base, and in this game it definitely feels like that. I always loved when you can go left and right and reveal more of the map and enemies on screen, and this game does feature that. It makes it kind of feel bigger than it actually is, and I enjoy these types of shoot 'em ups more than the side scroll type. I don't know why, maybe because I just grew up with this, but this one is a blast to play with amazing graphics. Next up, we've got Guns of Mercy, which I think is heavily inspired by Space Invaders. The idea here is that you have a loadout with amazing cool weapons that can also be picked up during the mission itself. You've got a lockdown screen, and you're able to aim anywhere on the screen with the right stick by simply pointing in that direction. Now, what's cool about this is it kind of reminds me of like those classic games where you're upgrading your weapons, getting better results out of those weapons, and facing, stronger enemies. So these types of games are really to be picked up and played for short bursts of time, and it's amazing on the Switch because, yeah, you're on the go, you just want to do one little mission here, and you can do that in this type of game. And I love the sort of art style of this game as well. And I don't know why I love this, but killing enemies in this game feels great, but also they drop so much loot, and it's so addictive just picking them up. And as you can see, you can pick up new guns and use those in the level as well. The idea is to clear out the level, then hop in the elevator and continue up that tower. Next up, we've got Finding Teddy 2 Definitive Edition. If you've ever played Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link on the Nintendo Entertainment System, then you'll be right at home, while this game borrows basically every mechanic out of that game. I do have a feeling she's actually asleep and in a nightmare looking for her teddy, which maybe I just spoiled the whole game for you. I don't think so, though. But I do love the design of this game. It's got beautiful pixel art, and there's tons and tons of mysteries and, puzzles to be solved in this game. Tons of different enemies. The soundtrack is actually pretty good. And from what I'm hearing, I didn't play it myself for this long, but I hear it's over 20 hours of gameplay, which is crazy, and there's tons of items to collect and find along your journey. So if you're looking for a crazy long adventure in this setting, well, you've got your game here. Last but not least, we've got Super Trench Attack. This is the most unique game out of the bunch, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is a goofball comedy shooter based in a World War I setting. You've got your dual stick shooter setup, so right stick controls the reticle on screen, left stick controls your character, but it is also a lot of reading, and at the beginning I just didn't know what to make of this game. But I started to walk around the camp and I realized, oh, this is like a dual stick shooter with an amazing sense of humor. And in saying that, I actually am very surprised because not a lot of games make me laugh nowadays because my sense of humor is so ridiculously morbid. I need like ridiculous jokes, and for some reason this goofball sort of atmosphere really works for me. So if you're into that type of thing, definitely check it out. So there you have it. Pixel Heart, thank you so much for sending over the games. I found, a little bit of a secret gem here, and I really do look forward to what you guys put out next. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about the games you saw today, and I'll put a link to Pixel Heart's website, so if you want to check out the inventory, you can go and do that. And last but not least, I want to say I love these limited edition physical releases. So I hope the companies that are doing this out there thrive, and I hope they sell out, and I hope you guys are able to get some of these because I feel very lucky to have them as I break them. I'll see you guys in the next episode of JKB. Go and play this game. Even if you can't get a copy, download it. Trust me, it is a classic vibe. Just go try it.